When life presses on you from every angle, when doors seem to close and your prayers appear unanswered, when the nights stretch endlessly and your strength seems depleted, remember this moment, for this is where God begins to work. You might not see it just yet, and you may not understand how, but God is about to reveal His supernatural power in your life. The very same power that raised the sun this morning, that commands the oceans and the stars, is getting ready to change the circumstances surrounding you. What seems impossible to humans is the perfect setup for God to show His glory. There comes a moment in every life when human strength falls short, and that is when God chooses to show that He alone is in control. God's power is not confined by logic, time, or reason. He does not act according to your schedule or comfort. He moves in accordance with His divine plan, and when He moves, no obstacle can remain standing. Every mountain shakes before His word. Every closed door opens when His hand touches it. Every battle that has worn you down will turn into a testimony of His strength. You may feel like you're running out of time, but God is never late. You might believe your best days are behind you, but He is preparing to bring forth something so remarkable that it will silence your doubts and confound your enemies. God is about to prove that no force on earth can stop what He has in store for you. You've prayed, you've wept, you've waited, and now heaven has heard your cry. God is telling your heart, be still. I am working behind the scenes. Every tear you've shed has watered the ground of your breakthrough. Every painful season was preparing you for something greater. God never wastes your suffering. What you thought was a delay was divine positioning. The things that were taken from you, the opportunities that slipped away, the people who left God allowed it all so that His power could be displayed at the right time. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are standing at the brink of something miraculous. There is a supernatural power that moves when human understanding fails. It is the power that parts seas, that brings light out of darkness, that transforms dust into life. And that power is about to visit your life. God specializes in impossible situations because they display His greatness. He is not impressed by human strength or achievements. He is drawn to faith, the kind of faith that holds firm when everything seems lost. If you can believe when it all seems senseless, if you can trust when the evidence points elsewhere, then you are in the perfect place for a miracle. God's power is not a theory. It is a living reality that transforms everything it touches. Some of you have been in a long waiting season. You've been faithful yet unseen. You've been giving yet overlooked. You've been patient yet weary. But God has been observing your perseverance. And just when you thought nothing was changing, He has been aligning every detail for your divine moment. God operates in silence because His power is revealed in the unexpected. When He acts, it won't be gradual, it will be miraculous. What took years to break will change in an instant. What was lost will be restored in abundance. God's timing may be hard to comprehend, but when His power is revealed, it will give purpose to every trial you faced. Don't be shocked if the pressure builds before the breakthrough. When God is about to act, resistance always intensifies. This isn't a sign of failure. It's proof that your blessing is near. Darkness always fights hardest just before the dawn. So, when everything appears to be crumbling, cling tighter to your faith, because God's power is on the verge of being revealed. The same power that lifted Joseph from the pit to the palace, that brought David from the field to the throne, that turned Daniel's trial into victory, is still alive and active today. God has not changed. What He did before, He can do again. His power does not fade. It simply waits for the right heart of faith to unlock it. Faith is the key that releases divine power. When you believe beyond what your eyes perceive, you invite the supernatural into your world. God does not move through fear. He moves through faith. If you wish to witness His power, you must refuse to be governed by your emotions. Emotions fluctuate, but faith stays constant. You may feel weak, but your faith proclaims, God is my strength. You may feel lost, but your faith assures, God will lead me. You may feel forgotten, but your faith murmurs, God still remembers me. Every time you choose faith over fear, heaven responds. God's power flows through those who trust Him, not because they are perfect, but because they fully rely on Him. God's supernatural power is not confined to a specific kind of miracle. It can heal whatever is broken in your body, mind, relationships, or purpose. There is no area of your life that His power cannot touch. Some of you have been carrying burdens too heavy to bear. You've been fighting unseen battles. But God knows, and He's about to step in. The weight that's been crushing you is soon to be lifted. The storm that's been raging is nearing its end. You will not leave this season empty-handed. God's power is about to restore everything the enemy tried to take from you. When God demonstrates His power, it's not subtle, it's unmistakable. You won't need to explain it. You won't need to convince anyone. The evidence will speak for itself. Those who doubted you will witness what only God could do. Those who overlooked you will realize that favor doesn't come from humans, it comes from heaven. You are about to become a living testimony of divine power. The same people who saw you struggle will witness your rise. And when they ask how it happened, you'll know it wasn't by your might nor your wisdom, but by God's power alone. Don't let fear cripple your faith. Fear is the enemy's tool to prevent you from stepping into what God has already prepared. But when you confront fear with faith, something shifts in the spiritual realm. God's power begins to move. The walls that once held you captive start to fall. The road that appeared impossible begins to open up. Fear may roar, but it cannot defeat faith. Every time you choose to stand strong, even while trembling, you declare that your trust is not in your situation, it is in God. And when God sees this kind of faith, He releases power that no earthly force can overcome. You may not realize it, but the pain you've gone through has been preparing you for the strength that's about to come. God never allows pressure without purpose. Every tear, every letdown, every delay was shaping your spirit to bear greater glory. Had He blessed you sooner, you might not have been able to sustain it. But now, after all you've endured, your faith has been refined, your heart has been strengthened, you've been shaped into someone capable of handling what's coming. The next move of God in your life will not just bless you, it will bless others through you. His supernatural power isn't just for show, it's for destiny. There will be times when you'll feel like quitting. The burden will seem unbearable. But remember, the closer you are to the breakthrough, the stronger the pressure will feel. God's power often comes after you've reached the end of yourself, when you can no longer do it on your own. That's when He steps in. His strength is perfected in your weakness. The situation that seems like it will destroy you is the very thing that will reveal His power in your life. So hold on, keep standing, keep believing. God hasn't brought you this far to leave you. He's setting the stage for something incredible. Sometimes God allows you to walk through fire not to harm you, but to show others that you can't be consumed when He is with you. You may be surrounded by struggles, but you are also surrounded by divine power. Every step you take in faith is a declaration that you are not moved by what you see. The world may say it's over, but God says, I'm just beginning. His power isn't bound by natural law. He doesn't need permission to work a miracle. He speaks, and creation obeys. And that very power is about to speak into your situation. When God demonstrates His power, it brings divine order. Those who overlooked you will realize that favor doesn't come from humans, it comes from heaven. You are about to become a living testimony of divine power. The same people who saw you struggle will witness your rise. And when they ask how it happened, you'll know it wasn't by your might nor your wisdom, but by God's power alone. Don't let fear cripple your faith. Fear is the enemy's tool to prevent you from stepping into what God has already prepared. You need to prepare your heart for what God is about to do. Expect Him to move. Speak life into your situation. Declare that something good is on the way. Faith isn't passive, it's an active expectation. The moment you begin expecting God to act, heaven begins to respond. Your words are seeds. Speak with faith, and you will see His power unfold. Doubt delays what faith can hasten. So keep your heart steady. Let your words be full of faith, and keep your focus on God. Things that were in chaos suddenly fall into place. Those who were against you begin to change their hearts. Opportunities that seemed dead are revived. That's the power of divine intervention. One moment of God's favor can erase years of hardship. One act of His power can achieve what human effort never could. You may have tried everything, but when God steps in, everything changes. His power makes the impossible possible, the broken whole, the hopeless triumphant. You won't just see His hand, but you will feel His heart. There's a reason your battle has been fierce. The enemy always targets what God intends to bless. The greater the calling, the greater the conflict. But no attack can overpower divine authority. Every plan formed against you will fail because the power that shields you is greater than any force that opposes you. You are covered by divine protection. God's power surrounds you like a shield. Even when you don't sense it, it's at work. Even when you can't see it, it's moving. Every step you take in faith pushes back darkness. Every prayer whispered in pain is breaking chains in the unseen world. Never underestimate the power of a believing heart. God moves through those who refuse to give up. And when He moves, it will be swift. One morning you'll wake up and everything will be different. The news will arrive, the opportunity will appear, the burden will be lifted, the answer will manifest. What you prayed for will stand before you as evidence that God never forgot. You won't have to force it. It will flow. You won't need to chase it. It will find you. That's what happens when divine power takes control. It doesn't require your effort. It only needs your surrender. When you stop striving and start trusting, heaven begins to move. So, in this moment, lift your faith higher. Let your heart be filled with anticipation. God is not limited by what you lack. He is not delayed by what you've lost. He is not intimidated by what you face. His power surpasses every obstacle. You're about to see what human hands could never accomplish. You're about to witness doors open that you didn't even knock on. You're about to see restoration so complete that you'll say, only God could have done this. He is not done with you. In fact, He is just beginning to show what He can do through a life that completely trusts Him. Every season of loss will give birth to a season of abundance. Every cry will be answered with joy. Every delay will be replaced by acceleration. The same power that shaped the stars is shaping your destiny right now. God has already written the outcome, and it ends in triumph. Stand firm, hold on to your faith, and prepare your heart, because God is about to reveal His supernatural power in your life in ways that will leave no doubt that He alone is God. There are moments in life when the human heart reaches its breaking point, when your strength has run out and your hope seems buried beneath disappointment. But that's exactly when God chooses to reveal His power. When all your options seem exhausted, when your back is against the wall and the road ahead appears impossible, God steps in to remind you that He is never limited by what limits you. His power is not reduced by your weakness. His authority is not undermined by your circumstances. God does not need the approval of the world to act on your behalf. When He decides to move, no force in heaven or on earth can stop Him. You see, the supernatural power of God does not come to impress. It comes to transform. It is not a display of divine strength for the sake of spectacle. It is a revelation of divine love, mercy, and sovereignty. God's power carries purpose. It manifests when His timing aligns with your trust. The same hands that formed the universe are shaping your life. And though you may not see the complete picture now, He is preparing to reveal a miracle that will make every trial worthwhile. God's power doesn't just alter circumstances, it changes the hearts of those who experience it. You won't come out of this unchanged. You'll emerge stronger, wiser, and more rooted in faith than ever before. When God chooses to reveal His power, it often starts in quietness. There's a reason He sometimes conceals His hand while working on your behalf. Silence doesn't mean absence. Hiddenness doesn't mean inactivity. God works in the unseen to bring forth what will eventually be undeniable. He plants solutions in secret places, nurtures them through seasons of hardship, and reveals them at the right moment. You might be in a quiet season now, wondering if He has forgotten you, but the silence is proof that something sacred is being prepared. God is building a foundation that no storm can shake. Some blessings cannot be rushed. Some doors open only when your faith matures enough to walk through them without pride or fear. God's power is too sacred to be wasted on impatience. That's why He refines you before He rewards you. He strengthens you before He demonstrates His might. When He is about to showcase His supernatural power, He first shapes your spirit so you can handle what's coming. And when that moment arrives, it won't be a mere ripple. It will be a tidal wave of divine favor that sweeps through every part of your life. The season of struggle was necessary to teach you how to stand. The waiting was necessary to teach you how to trust. And now the display of His power will prove that every delay had a divine purpose. Some believe God's power is only seen in miracles that shake the earth. But His power is just as mighty in the quiet transformation of a human heart. The way He gives peace in the chaos, the way He restores hope in despair, the way He turns pain into wisdom. These are miracles as great as those written in ancient texts. God's supernatural power is not only external, it is also internal. He can shift the environment around you, but He can also change the condition within you. That is the true victory. When the storm inside you becomes still, even while the winds outside continue to blow, that is when His power reigns supreme, not because He removes every challenge, but because He gives you strength greater than the challenge itself. And when God begins to move, everything changes all at once. The very place where you once felt defeated becomes the ground where He plants victory. The same people who once ignored you will have no choice but to witness your rise. That very situation that broke you will become the proof of His power. God does not forget those who trust Him in the darkness. The tears you cry in secret are not wasted. They've nourished the soil for your next season. You will reap a harvest from every heartbreak because God turns pain into purpose. When He decides to reveal His power, He redeems every loss and reverses every setback. But hear this truth: God's power is not revealed to the casual believer. It manifests through unshakable trust, through hearts that believe even when logic says otherwise. Faith is not agreeing with what you see. It is declaring what God has spoken, even when your eyes see the opposite. When you choose faith over fear, you stir divine energy into action. Faith is the invitation that allows heaven to touch earth. God moves through the atmosphere of belief. The level of your expectation determines the scale of His manifestation. The moment you dare to expect the extraordinary, God begins to arrange it. There are seasons when God tests the foundation of your faith, not to weaken you, but to ensure that when His power arrives, it will not destroy you, but elevate you. Some blessings require spiritual strength to carry. That's why He allows you to wrestle with difficulty, not because He enjoys watching you struggle, but because He is preparing you to bear the weight of what He's about to give. The supernatural power of God is never reckless. It is deliberate, purposeful, and perfectly timed. He never gives too soon, nor does He move too late. When the clock of heaven strikes the appointed moment, everything that has been delayed will be released with divine speed. You may not see it now, but right this moment, God is aligning things in ways you cannot perceive. Doors are being prepared, people are being positioned, and opportunities are being arranged for your arrival. God's power works in stages. What He begins in the unseen will soon become visible. Don't be discouraged by the slow pace of progress, because when His hand moves, time itself shifts. He can restore in a single day what you thought would take a lifetime. His power does not operate on human time. It moves in divine order. And make no mistake, when His supernatural power is revealed, it leaves undeniable proof. It changes lives, rewrites destinies, and silences doubt. It is not quiet or hidden. It is radiant and unstoppable. You will not need to explain what happened. It will be clear to everyone that God's hand was upon you. The transformation will be so sudden, so complete, that those who witnessed your struggle will be astonished by your breakthrough. God's power leaves its mark on everything it touches. It takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. It takes what the world has discarded and declares it chosen. You may ask, how will I know when God is about to display His power? You will first feel it as a stirring within your spirit. Your heart will begin to sense change. Even before your eyes, you'll see it. You'll find peace amidst what once troubled you. You'll experience an unusual calm where there used to be chaos. That's the sign that heaven is shifting. God always moves spiritually before He moves physically. The inner change is the precursor to the outer miracle. When your heart becomes anchored in faith, your surroundings soon follow. God's power often reveals itself in unexpected ways. Sometimes it comes through people you least expect. Sometimes it flows through closed doors that suddenly swing open. Sometimes it appears in the courage to start over after failure. Do not limit how God can work. His methods may surprise you, but His purpose remains unchanged. He uses both comfort and hardship to reveal Himself. The very situation that seems to be breaking you may be the very one through which His power will be shown. Trust the process. Even pain can be divine preparation. And remember this, when God demonstrates His power, He also changes your perspective. What once intimidated, you will no longer have control over you. What once terrified, you will become a testimony of triumph. His power lifts you from the ground of fear to the mountain of faith. It teaches you that what is impossible for you is never impossible for Him. Once you've seen His hand move in your life, doubt will never hold you again. You will look back on this season and realize that everything you've been through was the path that led you straight to divine victory. There is a reason why the battle has been so intense. The darkness knows what you carry. The pressure has been heavy, because the breakthrough will be even greater. The enemy doesn't fight what has no future. The fact that you are still standing, still believing, still holding on to faith is the greatest proof that God's power is on its way. You are not merely surviving, you are being prepared for elevation. The season of opposition is a prelude to divine demonstration. Every voice that rose against you will soon be silenced by what God does for you. So lift your head. The winds may be fierce, but the one who commands them is stronger. The world may tremble, but your foundation is unshakable because it is held by the hand of the Almighty. God's supernatural power is not a thing of the past. It is the living reality of today. He still moves. He still speaks. He still delivers. And right now, He is preparing to show you that in your life, you may not understand how, but you will know when it happens. The doors that were shut will open effortlessly. The chains that bound you will break suddenly. The weight that burdened you will be lifted without warning. That is the signature of divine power, unexplainable, undeniable, unstoppable. Do not underestimate what God can accomplish with a single act of faith. Your obedience can spark a chain reaction of blessings beyond your imagination. The smallest step of trust can unleash a wave of divine action. God does not measure your faith by its size. He measures it by its sincerity. When you fully trust Him, you give Him permission to move freely. And when He moves, no one can undo what He establishes. The same God who spoke creation into existence is now commanding your destiny into alignment. Every setback you've faced is about to become part of a story that will inspire others. You will not only witness His power, you will carry the proof of it. Your words, your walk, your peace will testify to what He has done. God is about to turn your life into a living testimony that He still reigns, still heals, still restores, and still answers. You are about to enter a season where His presence will surround you so completely that no fear, doubt, or opposition can remain. The power that holds the universe together is about to manifest through you, proving once again that nothing is greater than God. There comes a moment when every soul must decide what they truly believe about God, not with words, but with actions. It's easy to talk about faith when life is calm, but true faith is forged in the fire of uncertainty. This is your moment to stand firm, to lift your heart and declare that you will not be moved by fear or doubt because God is your foundation. You may not see the entire path ahead, but you can trust the one who shaped it. You may not understand every trial, but you can rest in the truth that nothing touches your life without first passing through His hands. Let your faith rise above your feelings. Let your confidence be grounded in the truth that God's power is working even when you can't see it. Right now, open your heart to Him fully. Lay down the burdens you've been carrying, the questions that have weighed on your spirit, the wounds that have lingered in silence. Release them into His care. Surrender every part of yourself to the will of God. Not halfway, not with hesitation, but with complete trust. When you do, something changes. The heaviness begins to lift. The confusion begins to clear. The peace that comes from His presence begins to settle in your soul. You will begin to sense that you are not alone, that the same power that governs the stars is now strengthening you from within. If you have ever wondered whether God sees you, know this: He does. He has watched every step, every sleepless night, every moment you fought to believe when nothing seemed to change. And He has not forgotten. Your faith has reached heaven. Your prayers have been heard. And your perseverance has not been in vain. God has been preparing you, not punishing you. He has been refining you, not rejecting you. And now he is ready to show you that his power has always been greater than the mountain before you. What you thought was an end is only the beginning of what he is about to reveal. Let your heart be still and your spirit be expectant. God is not a distant observer. He is the very breath that sustains you, the strength that carries you, the light that will never fade. He is closer than your fears, stronger than your battles, and more faithful than you can understand. Trust him with everything. Honor him with your decisions. Seek him in your quiet moments. Let every step you take be guided by the awareness that you are walking under the shadow of his power and grace. When you live this way, life itself becomes a form of worship. And when the challenges come again,
Luces caen sobre mi piel. Finjo que no te pensé, pero el silencio grita lo que no quiero ver. Y dicen que brilla.